So, like always, we start with why we YIEDLer, and that is because we believe there's some generational, once in a lifetime wealth building opportunities in DeFi. But most users are locked out of it due to the time required and expertise needed to optimize the investment opportunities there are. So what we do is we have adapters built to a whole bunch of different protocols and places you can put your investment, and then have some complex algorithms deciding how to optimize for the highest yield with your given risk preference. So you don't have to worry about scanning the environment and staying up all night wondering where you should put them. We do all the hard work for you, and you sit back and YIEDLer. Today, we're going to be talking about the token launch and roadmap, what the short term will look like, beta vaults update, protocol expansion pipeline, NFT vaults with Jason, update on the PowerYIEDLers, some community content, and as always, memes and a POAP. So, Faisal, do we have you here to give us a bit of an update?
Yes, thanks, Curtis. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, good. So, OptyFi's team has been very busy deliberating about our token launch. Token launch represents our first step towards decentralization and becoming a DAO. And we have basically been studying what some of the recent developments have been in other protocols and stuff. One of the key decisions we are trying to make is when we launch our token, whether we launch it with no staking at all, whether we launch it with some simple staking vaults, or whether we launch it with our full OptyFi staking protocol, which is time lock staking. We feel strongly that time lock staking is the way to go, because that a lot of protocols right now have been hurt a lot by speculation. And the unfortunate thing is, you launch the token, and then speculators, take over, start selling, and your time becomes more involved in fighting fires on token price rather than building the protocol. And of course, with the overselling of your token, everything you're trying to do in terms of give user rewards for long-term holding and stuff, it gets hampered. So it's a big decision to make. We are hoping to have a decision for you, our internal decision, by next Friday of when we're gonna be launching the token exactly. So the major decision we're making is, if we go with no staking, pretty much we can go very quickly. If we go with simple staking, there's a little bit of code audit we need to do for some simple staking vaults. If we go with our full solution, which is time lock staking, that will take a little bit longer. So we are right now deciding whether it's worth it to go earlier without staking, go a little, a few weeks later with staking, or just come up with the full solution. Obviously, we like to iterate and develop. We like to release MVPs and build on them. But that model may not work for the token, just because we don't want to be in a situation many other projects have found themselves where the token is just being sold by speculators. We need some way to influence that, and staking is the best way. So that's just for you guys to know kind of the discussion we're having internally. Would love to have, if anybody has experience with communities, thoughts around this decision, we'd love to hear from you, in fact, right now. So if there's any thoughts on this topic, please, floor is open.
I guess, but yeah, if you can even text it in the community events if you have any questions for Faisal, and I'll relay them.
I think we have one full solution, which is what we're leaning towards as well. Full solution. For full solution, I assume that means go with a full time lock staking solution. We've seen protocols launch with a simple staking, and the minute there's a little bit of selling, everybody unstakes. Nice.
Another Yiedler says doesn't mind the wait. He wants the full-time lock.
Oh, this is really good. This is really good to see. This is
Yeah,
really
like
good to see,
yeah.
because that's what we wanted, but we also we were wondering if community members are getting impatient. But it's good to see that we have some good Yiedlers, long-term Yiedlers on board. Last thing we want is speculators to come in and spoil what is a pretty good project, right?
The
So,
argument, yeah.
okay, the argument is, usually we like to develop software in agile method, so release frequently. So the time lock staking is more complex. Simple staking is pretty easy. So we could start with that. Like that's more from a product development perspective. But if our real focus is to just focus on the long term for the protocol, this is one case where doing an MVP may not make sense. If we just did an MVP, you would go with no staking, then simple staking, then time lock staking. If you just thought of an MVP model. But I think a token is the one place you don't want to do that MVP model. You may want to actually have a full solution, otherwise, it can really harm you as a project. Okay. We have it's going to be singularity down for time locks. Very nice. I think that's the direction the industry is going now, just because we found that simple staking doesn't help sometimes when there's downward pressure. People just unstake, so it doesn't help, long term for the token.
Yeah, it's better for like long-term believers too. If you were intending on not selling the token for a long time, anyways, then you get higher APY on the long stake.
Yeah, there's XXDS. You read our mind exactly. Obviously we're closely affiliated in New Order, and we've seen what's going on there, and we want to avoid that situation. So yeah, I guess XXDS is exactly. This is where we're coming from. Okay, good. It's really good to see that we have a good supportive community. Rather than this coming to a point where we're having to, have community proposals and make changes, let's just try to have long-term investors holding our tokens and staking. Yeah. Okay. It's good to see that we have some. This is what the team is thinking as well. Mazo says no staking will just have the community asking when, and simple has the challenges you mentioned. Yeah. We've seen New Order has staking vaults, but because people once it's not locked, I think what's happening is if there's downward price pressure, then people will unstake. So it's good to have some time locks and to reward those time locks as well. So we want to reward people who are willing to be in long term as well. So that'll give us an opportunity to differentiate between those who are willing to stake for longer term and generously give them rewards. Let's go for a couple more minutes because I know we have a lot of other things to cover. So I think we have 2 messages incoming. Let's take those and then continue. Of course, any suggestions are welcome even outside this call. Yeah. The time lock actually is so our time lock system works. I guess similar to Curve, in that we have different locking periods, as short as 30 days, as long as 4 years, and depending how long you lock, it really goes up. The reward rate is really much higher for the long term locks. Yeah, exactly. Selectable lock duration is cool. Yeah, that's how we've always intended to do it. It's just that it's a little more complex and takes a little more, testing to make sure everything is okay, and audit. We also want to get it audited before releasing. So that's kind of the trade-off. A bit longer launch time, but a more solid and long-term product. Okay, I think we have one more incoming message, and then we'll move on to the next topic. But we're hearing from the community is sort of what the core team was thinking internally. Just wait till the full time locking vaults, staking vaults that strongly incentivize long-term holders are ready. Then we do our token launch. And that'll protect the token, and I think that'll be good for everybody in the community except for those who kind of in here for the short-term speculation. And we are anyways built for long-term supporters. So, okay, I think that's it. We can continue to the next screen.
Yeah, this is the next. So we're looking at.
So roadmap-wise, I guess we're in alpha. Beta will be opening up late night Sunday, so it'll be ready for Monday morning. We've accumulated the beta-yiedlers, the PowerYIEDLers have been whitelisted by Tiago, and they'll have access to the beta vaults starting on Monday. We're going to have two vaults. We're going to have an ETH vault and a USDC vault. We're going to be lifting the limits on the vaults to up to 5 million each. And the users will have no limit. So you can pretty much deposit as much as you want, up to $5 million TVL for each vault. And we'll be issuing the user rewards for each vault. It's going to be essentially 3,000 OPTY per day. But then we're going to see, depending on the total TVL, we want the APYs to be, very healthy. So we'll see how much deposits end up coming, and if needed, we're going to be boosting the reward rates being given out to the beta vaults. Also, because we may be delaying the token launch, we're planning to extend the beta. So by extending the beta means by time, and also by the number of users. So there'll be another round of users accepted to the beta, probably mid-February, 30 days from now. Of course, if you're already in, you get to stay in. So the delay in the token actually, in a way, could be a good thing for those people, because now we'll be adding more users to the vault, and there'll be more ability to earn tokens before the token launch. So that, I guess, we don't have a firm date on the beta extension, but we're probably looking at least 30 days from now. So the current users have 30 days in the vault, and then we'll be expanding and probably increasing the allocation of OPTY on those as well. So there'll be a very healthy, user reward incentives until our token is launched. And we'll be adding more and more users as well. And we want to make sure everybody who's getting in, who's shown the commitment, is going to be, very happy with the allocations they have when the token goes live. Beyond that, of course, we're very close to being multi-chain. Polygon, starting with Polygon. NFT vaults are very close to being released. We're probably looking at next month date at all. But it's more an internal thing. We want to do one thing at a time. So if our focus is going to be on token launch, we'll let you know. Basically, next week we'll provide a better timeline on when the NFT vaults are coming, but technically we're pretty close to being able to launch those. And further down the road, we have DEX strategy. So we have a really cool simulator. I tweeted about it. It can basically predict the orders coming into a DEX, a pool like a Sushi Swap or Uniswap. It predicts the arrival rates of swaps, of LP deposits, LP withdrawals, the volumes, and based on that, it decides, what is the right pool to be in. That's going to be really cool. It's coming down the pipe, and once we have that, we're going to go into multi-asset strategies, and that's where we feel OptyFi Yield is really going to shine. Because right now we're doing single assets. A lot of other folks do single assets. When we start doing DEX strategies and being able to be in a low-cost chain like a Polygon, Avalanche, and be in 20 DEX strategies, we can really get some good alpha. For example, we could allocate 10% of our vault towards NEO USDC. And because we'll be diversified, we'll have 20 different pools going on in one vault. We're diversified. So even though each strategy might be risky, overall diversification means the overall portfolio is less risky. That's where we think we're really going to shine. So lots of cool stuff coming down the pipe. We appreciate all you guys for your early support. You guys recognize there is something different about OptyFi. We hope to live up to that promise. And so everything, lots of exciting things coming down the pipe. But we'll be announcing more about the exact token launch next week when we have made a final decision and a final timeline. Okay, Curtis, all yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Faisal. And then I think Faisal covered basically the majority of what's coming up. The only other thing I'd like to add is just this expansion pipeline and what protocols we're looking at integrating in the near future. So this month we have on Ethereum expansion to Convex and Lido. And then in the short term, we're looking at Beefy, Curve, and Aave on Polygon. Those are near the end of the development stages, so coming up real quick in February. And then either February or March, we'll also be getting SushiSwap, QuickSwap, and MyFinance onto Polygon. The builders are working on those ones as we speak. And then we have CIDT hammering out Avalanche protocols. So we're going to be on Curve, Aave, BankUI, Trader Joe, Alpha Hamora, V2, and Pangolin in Avalanche pretty soon as well. So yeah, that's what it looks like for protocol expansion. Is Jason in the crowd here?
Hello.
Hello, Jason. So everybody, as Faisal mentioned, we have NFT vaults coming actually down the pipeline very soon as well, possibly late February. So the dev that's behind, the brains behind that has been Jason for the past several months. He's put together some really cool architecture, and that's what he's going to be showing you guys today.
Okay, let me just quickly share my screen. Let me know when you guys can see. Okay. Is everything visible?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, guys. I'm Jason. As Curtis said, I'm the dev responsible for the NFT vaults, and today I'll be providing some info relating to the NFT vaults and everything to do with them. So what are we going to discuss today? The topics. The first is the NFT Vault product series. This is sort of a short 2 or 3 presentations that I'll put together to give you guys a better idea on what the product is and how you guys can interact with it, the benefits that you can get from it. The second, today, I'll be talking about the functionality of the Vault, right at a high level. How do they operate? And why we've made some decisions we've made. And the third thing is, well, I'll tell you guys about the first vault that we plan on launching as a product. So the NFT Vault series, right? So as I said, this is a series of 2 or 3 short presentations, much like this one. The first is the one that I'm giving today, right? The overview of the vaults and the first vault. I've decided to go with an overview today because the community has grown quite a lot since the last time, thanks to Thiago and Max and all of their efforts, and Curtis, since the last time I presented. So I think it's a good idea to give the new users the chance to delve into this product as much as the old one. The second presentation will be a bit more technical, again at a high level, just so you guys can understand to a deeper extent the architecture that that I've implemented in order to really rapidly sort of produce more and more NFT vaults, and also the rationalization behind some of these technical decisions. This is obviously a bit more geared towards the technical community members. However, I think that even non-technical community members will understand a lot and have a lot to gain from following that presentation too. And the third one, I think this will be the shortest, is, the NFT vaults are the first product in a series, I guess, of products that we're thinking at OptyFi for NFTs. And so perhaps we can go into and give some teasers about the next steps of these products. Okay. So before we go into the overview, I kind of want to iterate on the purpose of the NFT vaults. The first one is obviously to provide the users with the opportunity to invest in NFTs. And okay, of course, you might say, well, Jason, we can do that ourselves. Why would we use the NFT vaults? Well, this is point number 2. So a lot of users, right? The NFT market is quite a treacherous place if you don't know what you're doing, right? Products rise and fall constantly. You have to be sort of aware of the environment in order to be successful. And a lot of users don't have the time to invest to become so proficient in each and every market, right? Whether that's gaming, whether that's collectibles, whether that's art. So, if you have no time, no problem. These strategists will handle that for you. And the third thing is, right, NFTs is quite a broad sort of term. It covers quite a lot of market sectors, as I mentioned earlier, collectibles and gaming and art and so on and so on. So the user will be able to choose, right? Each vault perhaps will handle slightly different market sectors. So the user will be able to choose what they want to invest in. And in that sense, we're completely aligned with the vision of OptyFi, which is to make DeFi, and in this case, particularly the NFT sector of DeFi, accessible to every user. So now let's begin with the NFT Vault overview. Right, the NFT vaults are split into 3 distinct periods. So I'll go into each one of these briefly. Right, the first one is the capital raise. This is sort of, we do 3 major things. The first is that we set up the vault, right, with the portfolio managers and the strategists, and also all the initial conditions that we want to meet. This is, for example, the minimum capital that we would require for the vault to start functioning, right? Some vaults will require more capitals than others. For example, like imagine a Bored Ape vault that will, since Bored Apes are on the rise and they cost a lot, this will require a higher capital raise target than, a gaming one, for example, Axie, where you can buy assets for a lot cheaper. Users during the capital raise, right, will be able to deposit at a 1-to-1 for shares. So it means that if the underlying token of the vault is Ether, a user will be able to deposit 1 Ether and receive 1 vault token. And this counts as a share. So if 100 users deposit each 1 Ether, then each user will have 1 token, which will be 1%, so 1 share. These tokens, for those who are a bit more tech savvy, will be ERC20. You might ask, well, why use ERC20, Jason? Why not, ERC 1125 or anything else? Well, 1155, sorry. Well, the reason is that users are much more easily able to trade ERC20s, and they can function to an extent as an index for that particular vault, right? An index for that particular, the market sector that the vault is handling. And the third thing the user will be able to do is, okay, you deposit, and then you might want to withdraw. And if you do want to withdraw, then you will have to burn your shares, right? Again, 1 for 1. So you'll burn your shares, and you'll receive your ether. Now, after the capital raise period is done, we enter investment, right? This is where funds get locked, so users are unable to withdraw. This is so that the strategists can use the funds to buy and sell NFTs. An important note here is that the lock periods, right, the capital raise length, the investment length, and then the third stage length are all predefined, right, in the setup. So users will be very informed. All of this will be immediately accessible information. And once the investment time has run out, we enter the wind down phase. This is where strategists and the portfolio manager can no longer purchase any assets, any NFTs, and the only thing that's allowed is selling of said NFTs. So once all assets are sold, then the users may redeem their shares for profits. So, if initially there was 100 ether in the vault, and after all assets are sold, there's 200 ether, then the users will be able to redeem their corresponding percentages, right, and reap the rewards of partaking in the vaults. This is a diagram that some of you might be familiar with. However, I think it's good to present, as I said, for the new users. This is more or less the flow and what the whole picture is, so to speak. So firstly, we're in capital raise. Users are able to deposit and withdraw, and again at 1-to-1 for shares. After some time, the funds are locked, and we enter the investment epoch. This is where all the strategists and the portfolio managers start buying and selling NFTs. These strategists can be part of the OptyFi team. They can be like trusted and primarily knowledgeable community members. However, the key is that they will know the market that they are dealing with, right? The assets that the NFT Vault is handling. After the investment epoch is done, buy NFT is no longer possible, and we enter the wind down, where the strategist will sell all the NFTs, and eventually the users will be able to redeem. So that's the overview in a nutshell. And now, without further ado, I'd like to go into the first vault, CryptoPunks. We decided CryptoPunks for 2 reasons. Primarily, there's a lot more reasons, but 2 reasons primarily. The first is that they're stable. CryptoPunks, everyone knows what a CryptoPunk is, who's even slightly knowledgeable about crypto, about cryptocurrencies and the blockchain. And that's because they sent out a message initially with what it, kind of sort of redefining the concept of ownership and so on and so forth, making NFTs a thing. And also the second reason is that their floor is quite active. Every few days you get offers on almost every punk, and even the cheapest punks go for something like 70 ether. So punks are a good place to start, and also they serve as a really strong base as a proof of concept. The last thing I want to say, right? As I said, the short series of presentations regarding NFT vaults, right? In the coming weeks, I don't know exactly when. I don't know whether this will be next week or in 2 weeks. It depends on how everything plays out. I will be going over the smart contract architecture and the rationalization for those who are more interested in the technical side of things, but also the users who want to understand in depth how things work. And finally, right, maybe in a month or so, the next steps, right, the roadmap for this product. I think it's important. Sorry, I meant to mention rationalization. Some decisions have been made because we want the community to be very involved, and the architecture has been designed so that in the future the DAO can take ownership of the vaults and how they run. So this will be clarified a bit more in the next presentation. So thank you kindly for your time. If anyone has any questions or doubts, please let me know and I'll see if I can answer them.
Thanks, Jason. So, Thiago, could you mention the YIEDLers and what you need them to do? Thanks, Thiago. So now, as always, we have the memes of the week. So this, since we're now going to be expanding the whitelist for beta vaults, and you might even be able to have a chance to deposit in Polygon next month if we get this rolled out early enough before the token launch, depending on what we decide next week for the token launch date. You might be able to get in and deposit and start earning the token pre-launch. So these memes still are going to get you in if you want to keep doing the meme, the Twitter army, bounties, chatting in the Discord. All these are ways to get into beta. And again, the beta whitelist is going to be expanding again, so you can still get in. Play some music as well here.
Yeah, and you are not badass. Keep on going to you. I'm a big bag hunter with the bow. She got a big bed, never drop a low. Mama called me and she happy with the flow. You ever phone for me? Let them know.
Number go up.
A million options, so it's not gonna stop. Doing the green and the rock green is bringing the peace. I'm up in that park in the car, pretending I got all the eyes on me. Got a bad baby, she's independent. Too many people older than me, they're seeking attention. When they worry about the goofies, man, I should've listened. And it's trying to let the money, my strangest addiction. She did forget, I let her lit. I had to dip. I'm on for fifth. I'm original.
Hey, thanks, guys. We'll always next week share again our favorite memes, and you can get into the whitelist and beta if you have a really good one. And as always, you can get the POAP, but you need to take a screenshot of this screen here to prove that you were here. I'll do that myself right now. And then there will be a quiz that Thiago posts in POAP channel. Send your screenshot and answer the questions and get your POAP. And everybody else, if you have any questions for Jason, I think he's sticking around. Yeah, I see Jason here on the NFT Vault architecture, or Fassel, I think, is still around on the token launch or any other questions, we'd love to hear them. Or you guys can type in the community events channel again, of course. But I'd like to hear you too, if you don't mind speaking up on the mic.